6 days after winning a race, Kyle Busch was gone. And now, weeks later, the legal picture around his death is finally coming into focus, and it tells a story that nobody in NASCAR saw coming. No lawsuit, no courtroom battle. Just a family trying to hold itself together while the sport they helped define moves on without him. Here is what we know right now. Court documents filed on June 16th in Lincoln County, North Carolina, confirm that Kyle Busch's family is not pursuing a wrongful death lawsuit. A legal representative of the estate signed off on paperwork explicitly stating there is no such claim being filed under North Carolina law. Busch died on May 21st at Atrium Health Carolina's Medical Center in Charlotte. He was 41 years old. His death certificate lists hemorrhagic shock and a severe blood clotting disorder as the causes of death. He had been battling sepsis for at least a day, with bacterial pneumonia complications building for weeks. His death was ruled natural. An autopsy was completed. He was cremated in Mooresville, North Carolina. His wife, Samantha Busch, is listed as the primary beneficiary of his estate. A financial executive from his former Truck Series operation has been appointed executor. Let's step back and understand what we're really looking at here. Kyle Busch did not just quietly get sick and fade away. 11 days before he died, he was behind the wheel at Watkins Glen, one of the most demanding road courses on the Cup schedule. During that race, those around him heard him call out for a doctor over his radio. That is not a normal transmission from a NASCAR driver at racing speed. That is a man who knew something was wrong, and yet for weeks the full picture of what was happening medically remained private. The death certificate now gives us a clearer timeline. This was not sudden. It was a deterioration that played out over days, possibly longer, which is exactly why the decision not to file a wrongful death lawsuit carries so much weight. These filings are not automatic. They require deliberate legal evaluation. And the people managing Busch's estate, after reviewing everything, concluded there was no legal claim to pursue. That is a significant statement. It suggests that, in the eyes of those closest to Kyle Busch, no one is being held responsible for what happened. Now let's get into what this really means, because it goes beyond legal paperwork. First, the medical picture. Sepsis is brutal. It is one of the most unpredictable and aggressive conditions in modern medicine. Even patients who receive excellent care can deteriorate rapidly. Hemorrhagic shock, the leading cause of death listed on his certificate, can occur when the body systems fail in a cascade. This was not one thing going wrong, it was multiple systems collapsing at once. The decision to forego a wrongful death claim is, at its core, a choice about how a family processes grief. Do you fight in court or do you grieve privately? Samantha Busch has chosen the second path. That speaks to something deeply personal about how she and the family are working through this. From a legal standpoint, the estate structure is also worth noting. Busch put together a thoughtful legal framework. A will signed during his first championship year in 2015, a revocable living trust added 2 years later. This was not a man who left his affairs unprepared. His wife is protected. His children are provided for. The mechanisms are in place. What this tells us about the broader picture of his death is simple. Those closest to the situation, who have access to every medical detail, have made a clear-eyed decision. And that decision does not point toward negligence, malpractice, or anything other than a devastating natural medical decline. The sport has been grieving for nearly a month. 2 Cup Series championships, the all-time win record across NASCAR's top 3 series, 234 combined victories, a final win in the Truck Series just 6 days before he passed, which now takes on an almost cinematic significance. Kyle Busch did not go out quietly. He went out winning. The reaction across NASCAR circles since his death has ranged from devastation to disbelief. Busch was polarizing in the best way. Fans either loved him or used him as a measuring stick, and both sides respected what he brought to the sport. His competitiveness was relentless. His talent was undeniable. Now that the legal path has been confirmed, no lawsuit, most fans and analysts will likely view this as a chapter closing with some measure of dignity. There will be questions. There always are when someone this prominent dies this young, but the legal record is now establishing a clear picture. This was illness, not incident. Samantha Busch's public words had been rare and measured. She recently wrote about feeling Kyle's presence, about a sense that somehow he is still walking beside them. That kind of raw, unfiltered grief connects with people in a way that a press release never could. She is navigating an impossible situation with real grace. 2 scenarios for how this story continues to develop. Best case, the estate is settled cleanly over the coming months. Samantha Busch finds a way to honor Kyle's legacy through the Bundle of Joy Foundation, through motorsports involvement, through whatever she chooses, and the family moves forward with stability intact. NASCAR finds ways to memorialize one of its greatest champions, and the sport channels that grief into something meaningful. Worst case, questions about the timeline of his illness, the radio call at Watkins Glen, the weeks of deteriorating health. Those questions do not go away for fans and media. Speculation fills the void that official statements leave without a legal process to surface new information. The full story of what happened may never be publicly told. And for a fan base that watched one of their legends disappear without warning, that ambiguity can be a wound that stays open. Here's the question nobody is fully answering yet. Kyle Busch was calling for a doctor while still on the track at Watkins Glen. 11 days later, he was gone. Was everything done that could have been done in those 11 days? The family says no legal claim exists. But that does not silence the human question underneath it all. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think we will ever get the full picture of what happened in those final weeks? Or does the sport just move forward without the answers? If you are new here, SportsWire USA breaks down the stories behind the headlines. Not just what happened, but what it actually means. Subscribe if that is the kind of coverage you are looking for.